hour, the major Western powers, US, Britain, France, and Germany, want the UN nuclear watchdog to pass a resolution on Iran. The countries want the International Atomic Energy Agency to ask Iran to explain the uranium traces found at 3 undeclared sites. Now, the draft resolution was sent to other countries on the 35-nation IAEA Board of Governors on Friday. This comes just days ahead of a quarterly meeting that starts on the 16th of November. It also comes a day after the IAEA issued a report on the years-long investigation into the traces. In the text dated Friday, the IAEA Board of Governors has found it is essential and urgent that Iran acts to fulfill its legal obligations and take prescribed actions without any delay. The prescribed actions include providing credible explanations for uranium traces. Other actions listed included providing all information and documentation and to provide access to locations and material as the agency requires. The draft text would now need to be passed by a simple majority of the board members. Iran, for its part, has agreed to hold a meeting with the IAEA officials in Tehran. The meeting will be held after next week's board meeting to make progress in the stalled inquiry. The issue has been an obstacle to wider talks on reviving Iran's 2015 nuclear deal. Tehran has demanded an end to the investigation during the talks with the world powers. The IAEA wants tangible progress at its meeting with Iran. It also hopes that this will be the start of a process leading to full answers. The board passed a similar resolution in June when only China and Russia opposed it. Washington, under former US President Donald Trump, unilaterally came out of the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Ever since, Iran has installed hundreds more advanced centrifuges, increasing its ability to enrich well beyond the limits set by the 2015 deal. Now, for more on this, we're being joined live by Mir Javedanfar, who is a West Asia analyst from Tel Aviv. Thank you for being with us. Now, the major Western powers want the UN nuclear watchdog to pass this resolution on Iran. What can we expect here? Will this resolution be passed by a simple majority?
It will be passed, I think, in all likelihood by majority. The question is, will it actually lead to a change in the current Iranian strategy? Because you see the Iranians have played a very conservative, they've basically carried out a very conservative policy when it comes to their nuclear program. They are not showing any flexibility. And despite the IAEA passing a resolution against Iran, I'm still not sure that will change Ayatollah Khamenei's strategy. He seems that for now, he believes he can withstand sanctions, he can withstand isolation. He has bigger priorities. One of them is the Iranian nuclear program. The other is to help his ally, President Putin. Let's remember that even if all sanctions or nuclear sanctions against Iran are removed, new sanctions are going to be imposed because of Iran's support for Putin. So that kind of invalidates the need to show any flexibility in the nuclear program, because Iran's going to be sanctioned anyway for Putin, because of its help for Putin. And this is something that's very important for Ayatollah Khamenei. So to conclude, yes, there's going to be new resolution against Iran, but don't expect much change from the Iranian supreme leader.
Right, you have touched on it. So Iran, on its part, has agreed to hold this meeting with the IAEA officials in Tehran. But you have mentioned that they are unlikely to comply with some of these quite stringent lists that have been put forward, including providing any information and documentation and to provide access to locations and materials. What are your comments on this?
Look, there are some sites in Iran that they found traces of enriched uranium. These sites were not in the declared sites for Iran's nuclear program. And then when the accords started in July 2015, there were some sites we knew there's nuclear activity in these sites. But at 3 sites which were not part of the list, there's traces of enriched uranium. The IAEA wants to know why. and Iran is not answering. And what is adding to the anxiety and concern of the international community, especially Israel, is the fact that Iran is now enriching uranium at a level of 60%, which is close to 90%. Right now, Iran has 62.3 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium. That's enough to make a bomb, if Iran, of course, decides to do that. There are other steps to take before the bomb actually is made. It takes more time, but still, this is the fact that Iran now has enough 60% enriched uranium to turn it into 90% to make a nuclear weapon. That in itself is very concerning. And what adds even more concern is that in June 2020, Iran switched off 27 cameras of the International Atomic Energy Agency at its nuclear sites. These cameras were very important. They were crucial in enabling the IAEA and the international community to know what is happening in Iran's nuclear sites if Iran is doing something illegal, but they've been switched off. So when you put that next to the question, next to the fact that Iran's got enough 60% enriched uranium to turn it into weapons grade if it decides to do so, next to the fact that Iran is not answering about suspected activities at 3 sites, then I think not only is there going to be a resolution passed against Iran, I think if the Islamic Republic continues in its current trajectory, we could be closer to a military attack against Iran's nuclear program than ever before.
And Mir, in a broader aspect then, how does this affect the 2015 nuclear deal talks?
There's nothing to... The only thing that hasn't been issued is the death certificate. Everybody's we're dealing with a corpse here. President Trump made a terrible mistake of leaving the deal. He made compliance with the deal very difficult for the Iranians, because the Iranians said, okay, why should we comply? Because the Americans left. But now it's the Iranians who have made return to the 2015 deal impossible, because because of the actions which I listed in the previous question, which are really convincing increasing number of countries that Iran is not after nuclear energy, Iran is after a nuclear bomb. You don't do these things if you just want nuclear energy. So, and the international community, when Trump was in power, was holding Trump responsible for the current increase in tensions. But now everybody's holding the Islamic Republic of Iran responsible, with the exception of course, China and Russia. But they're only doing that because of their own geopolitical interest against the United States. Iran serves as an important, Iran turns attention away from them, so it's useful for them, the whole issue. And Iran is used by China and Russia to pressure the United States. So don't expect any help from them. But the JCPOA is dead. And, Ayatollah Khamenei has made a decision which I'm not sure everybody is aware of, in that he has decided to stake all for his support for President Vladimir Putin in Ukraine. This was a monumental decision made by the Ayatollah Khamenei, which has meant that Iran is willing to tolerate sanctions because Ayatollah Khamenei so desperately wants to stay with Putin. And the reason he wants to do that is because he needs President Putin's support, because we see more and more people of Iran are turning against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Mir, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. Thank you for your valued insights.
Thank you.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.